Good morning. I'm going to tip this down a little bit. You're looking at my disembodied head. Welcome to your Sunday morning, early morning intuitive guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum here with some words of wisdom for your day. Start the new week off right. So, not sure if you're in a place where you're getting snow, but hopefully so. It's very pretty. All the sound is kind of attenuated. So, good morning, Carolyn. Welcome. Glad you are here. Good morning. Good morning. You're the first one popping on. Glad to see you. So, we'll wait a few minutes as people start popping in. But there's Abigail. Good morning. My guess is, Abigail, you do not have new snow on the ground, but we do. So, I guess it's only about an inch so far. We're supposed to have weather advisory till about 3 o'clock. And of course, today's the day that we're getting one side of the family together to just kind of hang out and visit with each other. So hopefully everyone can make it, even despite the weather. So we have a card today again from the Pilgrim Card deck by Austin Repath. So we'll see what interesting words he has for today. It's very almost poetic card today. So hopefully it pleases your sensibilities. Thank you for the hearts and the rainbow. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. So let's just do some nice deep breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Letting your shoulders drop. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And my guess is now, as you're doing the breathing, your body's already attuned to, okay, it's time to just settle in, listen, open my heart, receive, be receptive to whatever today's message is. Good morning, Cindy. Welcome. Glad you're here. So just giving it a minute for everybody to settle into the energy space that we create every morning. Every morning. Just a nice, calm, contemplative, open, receptive space. That's what we're aiming for. So again, card deck is Austin Repath's Pilgrim cards, and pilgrim in the sense of a seeker, someone who's searching. And basically the cards are talking about our journey through life. So keep that in mind as we read today's card, which is Precious Vintage. Precious Vintage. So, one more nice deep breath. And out. And just allow the message to reverberate within you however it's meant to today. Whether because of the long days on the road, and that's referring to life's road. Good morning, Gwen. Glad you're here. Welcome. Whether because of the long days on the road, or simply because of something that can best be described as grace, you are open and alive in a way that you have never been before. Beyond any thought for the days ahead, you find yourself accepting this moment, which rains down the truth of what the journey is about. You see into the mystery of your life. Like a crystal goblet, fragile and ever so easily shattered, yet you not only hold the wine, you shape it. You know how you pour liquid into a container and it takes the shape of whatever that container is. Until one day, no longer afraid that your fragile vessel might be smashed, you realize that you have become the precious vintage. So I think especially for those of us who tend to be on YEMIG every morning, we've become that precious vintage. Good morning, Mel. Glad you're here. Welcome, welcome. We've been walking our life path long enough that some of the things that we feared at some point have kind of dropped by the wayside. It's more of a practical, pragmatic walk of life, as opposed to the worry, the fret, the drive, the push, all that stuff that kind of defined our 20s, 30s, sometimes into our 40s. But as we get into our 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and speaking of 80s, I want to wish a happy 80th birthday to my friend Arlene. If she's watching this one later today, I hope you have an awesome day. 80, that is such a cool number, isn't it? And as I look around at the 80-year-olds that I know, there's some movers and shakers. They're getting some stuff done. Good morning, Diane. Happy Sunday. Welcome to early morning intuitive guidance. And I'm going to read this one again because it's rather short, and B, I think it's an opportunity for us to put another perspective on our earth walk. All right. So here it is. Precious Vintage, and it's talking about our earth walk, us on our earth walk. Whether because of the long days on the road or simply because of something that can best be described as grace, you are open and alive in a way you have never been before. Beyond any thought for the days ahead, you find yourself accepting this moment, which rains down the truth of what the journey is about. You see into the mystery of your life. Like a crystal goblet, fragile and ever so easily shattered, you not only hold the wine, you shape it. Until one day, no longer afraid that your fragile vessel might be smashed, you realize that you have become the precious vintage. So, and I think our world is shifting with regard to that. Actually, other parts of the world have done better with this. But America, we haven't really done that great in terms of, good morning, Ruth Ann, valuing people as they move into that third chunk of their life. We blow off their wisdom. We denigrate them. We view them as disempowered rather than empowered. There's so much wisdom in people in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s that if we have those lenses on that don't see their value, we miss all of that. We miss all of that. How do we, I'm 62, how do we stay relevant? Especially, how do we disseminate our knowledge and our wisdom when there are those who aren't willing to see, aren't willing to hear what we have to say? I do see that shifting, though. I do see that changing. I see more people valuing what people in their 50s, 60s, and 70s have to say. Fabulous. Yes, thank you, Gwen. Appreciate the comment. Very much so. Very much so. Don't lose out on all of that wisdom. So, and don't keep your wisdom to yourself. Be willing to speak your truth. When the opportunity presents itself, put it out there. Put it out there. What you know. Because, again, you are that precious vintage. Due to walking your life path, the trials and tribulations and successes of that, you, you have wisdom that other people don't have. And to share that. And I think, unfortunately, for women of a certain age, we have oftentimes written ourselves off. Like we don't know enough, etc. We know a ton. And it's good for us to share that. So that is my call for today, that you spend some time appreciating yourself as that precious vintage. Because you have walked the path you've walked, because you have dealt with the things that you dealt with. How did the vote go the other day? Not well. They voted to proceed with the tunnel. Good morning, Judy. I'm very discouraged about that, but they're not the last voice to be heard on this. So there are still opportunities to shut this thing down and make it go away. So I hope other bodies who will be weighing in on this are wiser than this particular body was. They had all the evidence in front of them how this pipeline is not necessary, how it is a huge risk to the Great Lakes, and yet they voted to proceed. So I'm disgusted and discouraged, but I do believe that the wisdom voices there will prevail. It's just going to now take more time. We'll see what happens. So, but spend time today appreciating that you are that precious vintage, appreciating that you have traversed this much of your life path already, and that no one else has walked exactly the same path that you have, and that because of that, you have a unique perspective that the world needs to hear. So Again, whenever the opportunity arises, oh, never, never. My phrase that I borrowed from someone else with regard to this kind of stuff is relentless incrementalism. Relentless incrementalism. So we make a step, we make a step, we make a step, maybe we slide back to, make a step, make a step, make relentless incrementalism. I love that idea. That actually came from one of the groups that is protesting for prison reform. I believe it was that group. So Wisdom is the overall organization in Wisconsin, and then there are a variety underneath that. There's Esther and Joshua and Moses and a whole bunch of different groups that advocate for different things. Sometimes it's housing, sometimes it's prison reform, sometimes all kinds of stuff. But yeah, I just thought that was great. Relentless incrementalism. Keep taking steps forward. Deal with those slides backward, take some more steps forward. Because I believe sometimes we have to go backward in order to move over a little bit so we can go further forward. Sometimes that happens. And to keep it framed that way in your mind allows you to keep moving forward. Not give up. Not give up. Yes. So spend some time today thinking about the precious vintage that you are, appreciating the life path that you have walked thus far, including the difficult and painful parts. That's all a part of your makeup, right? And then looking forward. What's my next step? What's my relentless incremental step that I'm taking next? So have an awesome Sunday. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. And tomorrow morning, I will be meeting along with several other people, with the mayor and city planners. So send up some good juju for that, because I'm really hoping for some support for our project. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.